and welcome to GBN America with me, Patrick Christie's, and I am very pleased to be joined by an absolute fan favourite. It is the wonderful Kinsey Schofield. Now, Kinsey is a Los Angeles-based royal commentator, host of the To Die For daily podcast, the author of R is for Revenge Dress as well. I mean, Kinsey kicked off a television career years ago, has been lighting up the screens ever since, and her insightful and sometimes, well, certainly always actually, very, very honest commentary about what's really going on stateside, especially with Harry and Meghan, is always worth a look and a listen. So, Kinsey, thank you very much. Welcome to GBN America. Great to have you.
Thank you so much, Pat. You know, I'm a huge fan of yours, too.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so look, one place to start at the moment, very current this. Prince Harry is currently in court here in the UK, fighting to be given taxpayer-funded police protection. What's your view on that? Do you think he'll get it?
I don't think he'll get it. And you're right. I mean, the reason that he was able to appeal this is because he has a history with someone in the royal fold that he said, you know, there was some hostility there between the two of them. And he felt like it was the original ruling was unfair. So he challenged it. They allowed him to challenge it. I think that the taxpayers will have an issue with this because in the grand scheme of things, this is all happening, unfortunately for him, after Endgame, where the racist royal narrative is in the headlines all over again. You know, when you accuse the head of the monarchy of any sort of racism, I think you're accusing the British people of something similar, because people are very... there's so much love and there's so much respect for the monarchy, not only in the UK, but worldwide. And so, and I mean, that's not even acknowledging all of the content with all of the details and some of the blatant lies that weren't fact-checked within the Netflix program regarding racism and your side of the pond. So I think that people will not want to pay for his security. I think that they feel really hurt by his accusations and feel like when you brand one or two members of the British royal family racist, you're blaming society for that, because the family is a reflection of society.
Yeah, and also, I think he's brought a lot of the threat upon himself. He wrote some stuff in the book Spare about the Taliban, and that has massively roused up the threat from Islamist terrorism that he will no doubt face. I do also think he has massively annoyed the British people, disrespected a lot of them. That makes a lot of people very angry, and I'm sorry, but sometimes, if you make your bed, you've got to lie in it.
And I appreciate the fact that he went to war. I think everyone does. But if his argument is that I went to war, then shouldn't we protect everyone that's gone to war that way? I mean, I live in Los Angeles, California, where there's a significant amount of vets that are homeless, sleeping on the streets. Obviously, we should treat our vets better. But, you know, Harry is asking for special privilege because he went to war. You know, that's a lot of people we should be protecting then.
Do you think Harry is lonely in Montecito at the moment?
Yes. I mean, 100%. Even if, and I have heard that, I've heard that he is lonely, yes. But even without knowing what I know, you have to imagine that this is a young man that grew up in an all-boys school with a bunch of rambunctious guys, a lot of really deep, fun, silly friendships. They experienced something that, you know, normal people didn't experience, going off to sleepaway school and waking up with your friends every day. Then Christmases in a castle where every room is filled with your cousins. That's not the reality he has anymore. Today, you know, he'll wake up and celebrate a birthday with 4 people in the room, his children, his wife, his mother-in-law. I do believe he's lonely. I do believe he aches for the world he left behind.
Well, that world he left behind is snubbing him, because there is a royal wedding of his son Archie's godfather, who happens to be, I think I'm right in saying, the wealthiest man in Britain, certainly one of them. They've snubbed him, supposedly, because they thought it would be too awkward to have Harry and Meghan there at the same time as having King Charles, Queen Camilla, William and Kate. And he's just down the pecking order now, isn't he? Because of his own mistakes.
Yeah, I think that this decision is a pretty common sense decision. Why would you invite people that just drama follows them wherever they go? And that's my biggest argument towards Harry and Meghan. When are you going to look in the mirror and say, it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me? Harry and Meghan are toxic, and they can say all day long that they weren't involved in Endgame, but at the end of the day, their fingerprints are so all over Omid Scobie's Finding Freedom that it's hard to say that they were in no way, shape, or form associated with Endgame. Everywhere Harry and Meghan goes, drama follows. So if you want to have this sacred day where you want to celebrate, you want to be the center of attention, and you want to celebrate a union, love. Why would you invite Harry and Meghan there to wreak havoc on your big day? I don't think it's snubbing as much as I think I look at those two individuals and I say that's common sense right there. That's a good move.
You mentioned Omid Scobie there. His second book, Endgame, has come out. It's not sold well in the UK, no, despite all of this drama being raised around it. Or America has it. Well, look, can you explain to me a little bit about why that is? Why do you think this book has bombed, and why you think that Harry and Meghan were involved in some of the sensational allegations that were made in that book?
I think that it's bombed in the States and in the UK because Harry and Meghan's star power has fallen so dramatically. And that's not just like a nasty opinion. It's analytically, statistically, these are two people that have decreased in value for big brands, for big businesses. Spotify, no return on investment. And their fan bases have dwindled based on, I think, their actions. In America, we believe that Harry and Meghan are overly sensitive. They sensationalize everything, whether it's their own popularity or whether it's being in fear of, the paparazzi in New York when you've chosen to take an exit that the security guard advised against because it's full of photographers. So we think that they're insecure. We think that they exaggerate, and we think that they're destructive. They're personally destructive. Oh, and we associate Omid Scobie with these two people. So why would we support them by buying a book that is likely very much their side of the story? There is minimal to no criticism of Harry and Meghan within the pages of that book, while he verbally vomits, TikTok gossip about the Prince and Princess of Wales. I think royal fans are smarter than that, and that they just don't want to get into the gutter.
So you think it's a visible representation that there are more fans of the royal family than there are of Harry and Meghan? And if that is true, then they've lost, haven't they?
I do, yes, sir. I do believe that it is a representation that the royal family is much stronger than Harry and Meghan. And just to give you some catty LA gossip, there's a store here called Kitson. And not only did Kitson, I bet I always think you're my age, but you're younger than me. You're so wise, Patrick. It's because you're so wise. But when I was growing up, we had this store called Kitson where Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian would walk out with huge bags full of goodies. And that's where they'd go to get their picture taken. And it still exists today. It's still kind of like the Hollywood go-to boutique. And this year they have a display, their Hollywood hypocrisy display with Governor Gavin Newsom on it, and Harry and Meghan for their eco-hypocrisy, how they tell us we shouldn't be taking, we should be careful about how we travel, but they exclusively take private jets. But they did for a period of time sell Team Meghan and Harry and Team William and Kate shirts. And the owner of that store told me that they outsold the Team William and Kate shirts 20-1 for Harry and Meghan. Just a wow. fun little detail to prove that I think Americans side with the royal family.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know our UK viewers and listeners will really, really appreciate that little bit of LA insider information from you there. Meghan Markle, her exclusively now. Do you think that there is any way she can resurrect a career in anything? Where does she go from here? Because for Brand Meghan teaming up with Brand Harry and then potentially ruining Brand Harry, What does she do now?
I think Meghan has to stay in the background for a little while because she is accepting the fact that there's a significant amount of people that don't like her, and they're responsive to it. It's not like not liking her in the shadows. People don't like her, and they're very verbal about it. So I do think she has to go in to try to pursue this producing avenue. Hope to God that Meet Me at the Lake for Netflix is something of value, that it resonates with viewers, and that it receives positive reviews. Because if she can lay low for a little while and stay under the radar, but create content that's of value to viewers and the businesses she's working with, I think people might forget, just time heals all wounds. They might forget, and she might have a chance to reemerge. But I think that there are too many people that are hyper aware of how cruel Harry and Meghan were towards the end of the Queen's life, making it a much more difficult ending for her. And they're really resentful towards that. So if she wants to do anything and build anything, she needs to stay behind the camera, behind the scenes for a significant amount of time, because people are angry when they see her.
Okay, well, look, really insightful stuff there about the way that the American public are viewing Harry and Meghan. Kinsey, it's always an absolute delight, and I know I'll be talking to you again very soon right here on GBN America. Kinsey Schofield there.